Hello, everybody. It's the Seal here, and welcome back to Podcast for Your Thoughts. Yeah, we still have that very terrible name. I'm here with my brother.
Hi, Rex out here. I'm back again for more talking.
He's probably going to be in all of these. This is just our thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, today we're going to be talking about an idea that we've had for like 2-3 years.
Quite a few years now, I would say.
It's been a while, called the Creation Verse.
It's our own multiverse of heroes on the same scale as
DC and Marvel.
Yeah. And most of the characters are actually parodies off
Speaking
of
of Marvel, I'll just put it out here now that the next podcast that will be uploaded will be talking about the MCU.
Because we love the MCU.
Yeah. So that'll be the next one. Look forward to that. Or don't. I don't care. But anyways, yeah, we're just going to be talking about our thing. Creation Verse.
Yeah, just straight off the bat, I touched on this, but whatever. Every single character in it is a parody off of
Just about every single character.
Just about every single character. Most characters are parodies off of actual heroes from Marvel and DC.
Uh-huh.
Although, they aren't exact, like, they're parodies. Keep in mind, they're not just exact clones with different names and different suits. They've got their own interesting stories. But, like, listening to them, some of them, it's easy to tell what character from Marvel or DC they're supposed to be based off of.
Yeah. So, what should we start with?
Well, why not start with the biggest one? Earth 1 in our Creationverse multiverse. The Blue Spider universe.
Fun fact about this, even though we use this as our main one, this wasn't even the first one that we came up with.
The White Hawk universe, which we'll explain next, is actually our first universe we created.
Technically, your first one. You came up with it, and you told me about it, and we evolved from there.
Actually, you know what? Should we actually start with White Hawk?
Maybe, I guess that's...
I want to start with White Hawk, because White Hawk started off as a little... I was bored one night, and I wanted to come up with a superhero, and I came up with...
Was it... I can't... Was it...
It wasn't even from, like, a specific comic or something I read. I just came up with the idea.
I know one of them you were at the end of your tech course. I can't even remember what it's called. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
Cyberwolf, something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Oh,
and you were at that, and you
Cyberpack.
Was that where you thought of the Blue Spider universe or the White Hawk universe?
That was the Blue Spider.
That was Blue Spider. That was the second one. Okay, back to you explaining White Hawk.
Yeah, because White Hawk... Now, the Seal here actually has a character in White Hawk's universe that he made, but he made that after I explained to him White Hawk. So, White Hawk is a little project. I was completely bored out of my mind one night. I didn't even read anything superhero-related that day, or, like, look at anything superhero-related. I just came up with the idea for a superhero while laying in bed, trying to get to sleep one night. And it ended up being one of the coolest and most well-dished-out characters in our entire multiverse creation-verse we've created.
So, if you weren't bored that one night, this probably wouldn't even be a thing.
We probably still would have came up with Blue Spider and all that, but White Hawk wouldn't have been a thing for sure. So, my original idea for the story actually ended up being, like, a lot more serious and a lot more... mature, basically. And because I'd gotten the idea from, I had looked at, I don't remember the exact thing I was looking at. I think it was Spawn. I'd been reading, I wasn't really reading anything, but more, I'd seen some stuff on, like, the Spawn TV show and Spawn comics and all that. And I ended up coming up with an idea for a more mature starting off hero, but then I ended up twisting it a bit so it actually ended up being a little more kid friendly.
Yeah.
So it starts off with, you have your character Brandon J. He's a billionaire son of, I don't really think I actually gave the parents proper names, or if I did, they were like ones I've forgotten by now, but they were owners of, well, J Corp, a massive international company. If the best thing to compare it to in actual comics would be like Wayne Industries from the Batman or whatever, and they're expensive, and their son is kind of, I hate describing this, but really how he started off with was generic anime protagonist. That's the best way to describe what he was. He was that kind of, he was the new kid in this one school because he didn't want to, he wanted to actually get there, and he was more like the quiet kid towards the back.
Like, since his parents were very rich, they had him homeschooled, but he wasn't making friends, kind of like that.
Yeah, and he kind of
That
just
whole
ended up
nutshell.
going to school. And while on the bus, he meets. I'll remove some of them. I'm gonna do this kind of more updated origin. It's not gonna be the completely kid-friendly one. It's not gonna be the mature one. It's gonna be the mix between the two, and this be his proper origin, because I've kind of changed it up a bit over the past. But I mean, we did have like one where we reset the multiverse at some point, didn't we?
Oh,
Or at
yeah.
least, yeah, no, not a
Like-
creation. So we'll say this is his new
like,
origin after the creation.
Like Flashpoint, and did Marvel have one? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Did they? I don't know. They probably did. But yeah. I ended up with. We'll say this is. I'm gonna go with this one for his new origin because it's a mix of both of his origins I've come up with. While our new character Brandon J was on the bus, heading to school for his first day there, he's sitting at the back. I know, terrible, but this was. Keep in mind, was like 12 when I came up with this idea. I think. No, not 12.
Oh, so it hasn't been 5 years.
No, I think I was 15 though. So and I was not good at storytelling.
It was at least 2 years ago.
It was a few years ago. So I and this is kind of cringy story writing at first, but you'll get it. So I ended up starting with he's sitting on the back of the bus, and one of the kids ahead of him, he's getting picked on, like not just like the stereotypical oh ha loser, but more like they're straight up insulting him and his family, and like it's
Racial slurs and stuff?
not necessarily racial slurs because the kid wasn't well,
I don't
but it was like pretty nasty stuff. And Jaden, he's not necessarily the most easy guy to talk to, but he's someone who will not put up with anything
Did you
like
say
that.
Jaden?
I did Jaden, didn't I? I mean, I said
Brandon
Jaden.
J.
Brandon J.
That's what you're trying to think of.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the J in his name, and I thought, mine. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, basically, Brandon goes, "Okay, yeah, I'm not putting up with this," and basically stands up without saying anything, and decks the bully straight across the face.
You weren't kidding when you said generic anime protagonist.
Yeah, no, I told you that it started off as like a generic anime
It's
protagonist.
always how they unlock their true potential. Someone's getting bullied and they.
So he talks,
completely
and
wreck-
basically after that he just says, he doesn't even say anything. He just stands up, walks up to the guys, decks him clean across the face, and then goes back and sits down. After that, the kid comes up to thank him, and that was being picked on comes up to thank him, and he
decks
just
the kid.
no, no, good. Why would you think that? And then he just goes, he just kind of just the most bland tone in his voice, just you're welcome.
Oh.
And that he
this
kinda
is getting very dramatic, maybe.
Shush. And then it kind of quickly became, well, it kind of quickly became, he became the kid's first friend. And eventually, after a little while, the kid decides to invite him to his place. And he gets there, and the mom's there, and it seems to be really tense with the fact that he's there. The mom's kind of like, and then the kid's like, I really wanted him to come here. And Brandon's awfully suspicious. He's like, why does the mom seem to not want me here? Not in the fact that like she's being rude and like wants him to get out, but more the fact of thinking that he shouldn't be there.
Ooh.
And it's supper time at their house when he figures it out. The dad comes back from work and he just instantly gets the vibe that this guy is not a good guy. And that's when he quickly figures out, or Jaden quickly figures out.
Abusive parenting.
Yeah,
Abusive
he's got an
husband.
abusive dad. and there's abusive dad, abusive husband kind of thing. Like, he doesn't like either of them.
So he decks the guy.
Oh no, he does so much worse than that. In the original draft of this, he literally kills the dude.
Oh, that's illegal.
Yeah, that's why I meant, like, I told you, the first version of this was so dark. And I had to change it.
Yeah, we get it. So what? He saves them from the abusive guy.
Yeah, basically, he beats the crap out of the guy. And you get that point. But then he starts talking with them. He kind of becomes friends with both of them. And that's when he kind of reveals something to them. When he was a kid, you know, his parents are owners of the small schools, and it wasn't without his permission, but he got a few different experiments and stuff done on him in his childhood. It wasn't without his permission. He wanted this to happen because he was told that it could give him superpowers and all that. And all that. And he tested a few, and basically when he left, he kind of took something from his parents' lab. It wasn't, and again, this was a thing this was his own project that he was using his parents' equipment and stuff to work on. Project Whitehawk. An armored suit with, like, hard light. Well, actually, really, what he ended up being was kind of a mix of Iron Man and Falcon. Because he had hard light wings on his arms and had more of like that's why it was called White Hawk, because he had more of a bird style design to it, but it was like a bulky metallic armor like Iron Man from like the first few movies in the MCU.
Or Crimson Dynamo.
And basically he has enhanced strength and reflexes from all the experiments, and he's got a telepathic connection with his armor to the point where he can just straight up summon it to him.
So how old is he during all of this?
17. That was the age I had originally.
He's not really a kid.
Well, he was in high school.
Whatever.
He started off
Keep going.
17, but like
going.
by this point in time, I'm pretty sure he's like 25. And here's the thing, because he told them that because they were his kind of first true friends outside the family, and it quickly became this. The kid was pretty much a super genius, basically. Basically what ended up happening is both of them, the mom and the kid he became friends with, I don't think I actually gave them proper names, became, you know, his advisors. The kid became the tech guy, repairing his suit should it get damaged, building new gadgets, and upgrading his suit to the point where, like, you know, just building like a new, straight up helping him with that. And the mom,
kid and the mother. That's how
Yeah.
we're referring to these people.
I didn't give them proper names. That's and the
Can't do
mom,
anything
the mom
properly.
became person in the chair,
Yeah.
able to like use the city surveillance systems.
The guy in the chair.
No,
I am the guy in the chair. They can only be one.
You only get that if you watch the Spider-Man Homecoming Hishi.
yeah, okay, but yeah, that's kind of, and it kind of quickly came from there. And we didn't really come up with too much more specific storylines. He just kind of appeared in a lot of our crossovers, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although we did have a one where Blue
So-
Spider found himself in his universe, and he had
It's
to help
weird.
him get back.
There's quite a few heroes who are just like crossover fillers.
Yeah.
We just like thought of a backstory, gave him a name, and like powers and whatever, and then they just appear in crossovers.
We've had some pretty weird stories too. I mean, come on. The whole living embodiment of Christmas versus living embodiment of Halloween.
Yeah.
That was one of the weirder stories we did.
That was literally an idea I came up with my friends at school one day. Just like, hey, imagine if there was like, because we had this idea for creators of the universe. There was
The reason we called it Creation Verse is because we had this big bad called the Creator who brought them into like a Contest of Champions style
yeah.
thing, and that's where we got the idea of
where
Creation Verse.
Creation Verse came from, because his name is the creator. But I had this idea for it's like there's living embodiments of oblivion, existence, the universe, time, space, whatever stuff like that. But we also thought of ones for holidays and months. Then that's where the Halloween and Christmas ones came from. There's a whole bunch
And then it quickly
that
became
have
like
been slowly been added throughout different points of the stories and stuff.
basically how this really, it started off as like some crazy multiverse. It started off kind of in a way how it worked was like was the Arrowverse, because we had Blue Spider's universe, his own. We created these new superheroes, and we had them in their own Earths, and they started like, being the heroes that they are, saving people, and then we came up with the idea for. I think I was the one who came up with the idea for the Creator, who dragged them all together into a Contest of Champions style thing, and
was
that's no, it was you.
That was me.
No, you came up with the idea for like the Contest of Champions style thing. I came up with the name for the Creator.
Yeah.
You dragged them into the Contest of Champions style thing.
Creation verse.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we came with the name of the Creation Verse, and started adding all these heroes we've created to this multiverse, and it just sprouted off from there.
My favorite, probably in the whole thing, is All Star.
All Star is our version of Deadpool, basically. He breaks the fourth wall constantly.
Basically unkillable. Yeah, all that stuff.
It was fun. Some of them we don't actually have too well thought of, other than Justice Steel. Guy who's like this massive mech suit.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Let me just pull this up real quick. What are some of the other ones we had?
There's the Storm Trio.
The Storm Trio. Triplets who are living embodiments of the weather. Power Up.
Power Up, yeah. That's Indigo's sidekick. That's another character.
Those two we need to touch on in a second, because it's those two, the Spiders and Whitehawk were like the three.
Because I had the idea for Indigo before you even brought up to me the idea of the Creation Verse.
And I think, but like you fleshed him out at about the same time I fleshed out Crimson Rush, and then we both just kind of pitched them together and then kind of had them together, even though they're both on separate universes.
I got the idea for Indigo. I literally made him on a game in Roblox.
Yeah,
that's where he came from.
Gears was like, what was it? Like a
steampunk guy.
Yeah, and he's got like all these crazy steampunk tech.
Oh, the Protector / Grey Gun.
That one when you go, that you need to, okay, you explain him. Explain him.
The Protector basically, Whitehawk's universe, before he became Whitehawk, the big superhero of the city was Protector, but no one really appreciated what he did. It was like the news tried to make it seem like everyone loved him, but really no one did, and they didn't really were thankful for his things. So one day he was just done, tossed away his Protector gear and stuff, and made this new outfit, and became the guy known as Grey Gun, who later became Whitehawk's villain for a while.
Until eventually,
because like sure he was just a guy in like a gray, I can't even think of what you call it.
Yeah, like some super high tech guns, didn't he? Like laser blasters or something.
He basically had dual wield pistols, a generic gray outfit. Like that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think that he was Whitehawk's biggest villain.
Well, but here's the thing. I think the reason that he was such a serious villain is at one point in time he was a superhero like Whitehawk.
Yeah.
So he kind of knows the idea, and he knows what a hero will do and what a hero would act like, and he knows exactly how to counter it. And I think that's what made him one of the most terrifying villains.
Yeah, because he knows superheroes will always save the innocent before going after the villain. So that's what he did. He put the innocent in danger to get away.
And then eventually, after a little while or whatever, it was Whitehawk managed to track, because not much was known about him. Like, they knew who he was under the mask, but other than that, he didn't really know until eventually Whitehawk managed to find out about his past and found out that he was the hero, the Protector. And eventually he managed to get him some help, basically.
Yeah.
And then Grey Gun went back to his old alias and is a new hero.
Protector, and he's now hero, and now they fight other threats.
Didn't he have like an awesome energy shield or something?
Yeah, he had this big... I can't remember. I thought of a name for it. It's like a metal that can only be found in the Creation Verse. It's a really cool metal, and that's what his shield's made of. But I can't remember the name I thought of for it.
The Protector is obviously supposed to be a play on Captain America, basically.
Yeah. Well, he's a mix of Captain America and Guardian from DC.
That's the best
of the two.
That is the best way to describe him. He's a mixture of both of them, and then he kind of becomes. When he went dark, he kind of became like Red Hood.
Yeah, a little. There's also
minus like the whole.
what have we got? Oh, what else have we got?
That was most of the stuff I had written down. But I think we need to talk about
There's also some other ones. There's
Yeah, there's-
Sharkbite.
Sharkbite.
He's cowboy. There's also a bunch of like actual filler characters. We just kind of like in the heat of the moment came up with them, and
And then we
boom,
used them
they're
for that
there.
one story, and then they went back, and then we forgot about them.
There's like a version of Kid Spider who's from the Blue Spider universe that's a werewolf. There's a universe where we're all the versions, that world's versions of the heroes are like these gamma energy something monsters. Whole bunch of like just random filler ones that are
Yeah.
there just to
Although-
be there.
There is two more small characters. There's one more group of heroes we need to come up because they did have a major role. Pyrokinesis,
Oh yeah,
reality. Was it reality warp? What were those?
it was like it was like a this matter manipulation.
Matter.
like-
Yeah.
Oh, also don't forget about Phantom Spider.
Phantom Spider too. I was
That's a
gonna bring him up. Phantom Spider was a really cool version of him.
On that universe, that universe's version of Kid Spider is known as Phantom Spider because that universe's version of Blue Spider is like completely evil and is murdered a whole bunch of people, destroyed part of the planet. Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice.
Okay. I think here's what we need to do. We need to quickly go over Crimson Rush and Indigo, and then we need to just do the spiders because the
Yeah.
spiders is gonna take a while to explain. That was our unit. Even though it wasn't the first one we came up
the
with,
big one. It's
that's the one
The
that
big
got
one.
everything. Like, okay,
Most villain ideas go there. Most of them.
those were the
Okay,
ones we fleshed out.
Crimson Rush. That's your guy. You go ahead.
He literally. You'll notice something. All the heroes that I made were out of sheer boredom, where I just came up with an idea for a superhero and fleshed out a backstory, and then they just joined the. Crimson Rush is a speedster, just like the Flash. He's got like a bright red suit, red lightning, all that. It's basically think of him as like a pure red version of the Flash, basically.
It's if you go to like some rip off Chinese store and you're looking for an action figure of the Flash, that's
You'd find
the best
Crimson
one.
Rush.
I don't know where that like is that a metaphor that people use?
I don't know.
Is that even a metaphor?
I have no idea. Yeah, but it's kind of what he's just like.
Indigo, another speedster, as you can plainly tell. His suit colors consist of indigo and violet. And he's a speedster. He's got a partner called Power Up who can basically take objects and turn them into weapons and stuff.
And Crimson Rush has a partner in the name of Breacher who can create like portals across space and time.
Yeah.
Well, not really. Like he can't really travel through time. More like he can create portals in other dimensions and just teleport around his world. He's a play on Vibe, basically, from
Yeah.
DC.
There's also in Indigo's universe, he's got a big villain, Richard Velvet, who's got like this kind of exoskeleton suit. He owns like this big corporation, so they can't really arrest him for being bad.
And Crimson Rush has these two villains. I think there's Sky Shock. I want to say
Oh, he has three villains.
Sonic Shock and Sky Shaker.
Sonic Shock and Sky Shaker.
Both of them were super terrorists. One of them can just lift things in the air and like lessen gravity on stuff, and the other one can create like the best way. I don't know about how to describe the versus gravity part, but in order to like say what Sonic Shock's powers are, think of him as like Quake from Marvel Comics. You create like sonic vibrations and stuff like that. That can
Also, fun fact, every single universe has its own version of the person that is Kid Spider.
And the sad part is in most universes he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of.
not really anymore, no.
Actually,
He's like a bad guy in...
A lot of
I
them
know
started
at
off, you
least
thought
one.
they were bad guys, and then they kind of became good guys.
Because he's Sky Shaker.
But he's also the Protector / Grey Gun,
Yeah, so he was a villain there. at one point.
And he's also, Phantom Spider, who, in the first time Phantom Spider appeared, came across as a villain trying to defeat Kid Spider from the main Earth.
But that's because
that
he's
was the
basically
proof of
going around collecting all the versions of him because, his. By the way, Kid Spider and Blue Spider are brothers.
along with another character. I'll bring up her name now. We'll go into more detail later. Agent Webb. The three of them are
that's
siblings.
their sister.
Actually, the three of them are also the Storm Trio too.
Yeah. The Storm Trio, who are heroes in another universe, their own universe. We got a whole bunch of them.
Well,
That's why we had to write it down.
think of the Storm Trio as in a way like Poison Ivy. They're not really good guys. They're not really bad guys. They're just eco-terrorists.
Yes. They fight for nature.
They fight for nature. Something threatens nature, they defeat it, whether it's good
That's
or bad.
why most media doesn't really like them. Because
Yeah.
sometimes they'll fight military and government and stuff because they're threatening nature.
Okay,
Yeah.
so back to the Crimson Rush universe. The two of them being speedsters, we came up with our own version called Night of Creation, which was basically like Flashpoint.
It's basically they both ended up in the same universe to fight this big threat. There's more of a backstory to that, but I can't remember it. So we'll have to think of a new one or try and think of that one.
Think of it
There's
as like they
basically-
ended up changing somehow. Think of it as like Flashpoint, but instead of just on a universe level scale, on a multiverse level scale. They rebooted the entire multiverse.
They
On
rebooted
accident.
Creation Verse, which changed so much. The big problem was they both of their speed is what caused it, but when they were done, Crimson Rush is the only one that actually remembered that happening. So he had to like jog up Indigo's memory so he remembered so he'd actually help him reset it back to normal.
Mhm.
Which isn't really normal because, as you've heard before, White Hawks has changed and there's some other changes as well.
It's like think of it. The best way to describe it is think of it like the Flash TV show's Flashpoint. When he changed, it was a completely different world he was in. But then when he changed it back, it was almost the same, but not quite. There were a few slight changes.
There's at least one medium-sized change in each universe.
One that doesn't completely change the entire person's personality. It doesn't completely change what they look like. They're mostly the same. There's just slight changes.
I also do want to point this out. Well, actually, we're getting into the Spider-Verse now anyways, right?
Yeah.
Can't really call it that. Is that copyrighted?
That's
I don't know.
copyrighted. Unfortunately.
Bleep it out.
No, we can like bring it up in the discussion thing, but we can't call it that.
Yeah, I know. I meant the Blue Spiders universe. That's what it is.
Where do we start?
Oh, boy. Do we even have proper backstories for these guys?
I know I did. No, we had basic backstories.
Like, they got powers like Spider-Man.
No,
Yeah.
in my case, it was literally like the most basic. Like all three of them kind of started off as parodies to Spider-Man, and then they quickly became their own characters.
Fun fact: Kid Spider doesn't have his entire left arm. It's a fake arm.
I mean, Blue
And-
Spider lost his for a portion of time.
Yeah, the only
And
reason
then
he got
Evangeli's
it back is
back
because he
for a
went.
bit.
Yeah, we also have our own symbiotes, so that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun. Okay,
that's how they got their arm back. 'Cause these ones have the power to heal.
one thing we should probably put in real thick.
Real thick.
I meant real quick. Okay, one thing we should probably say real quick. The three main spiders are OCs, and they're all kind of based off us.
Yeah.
Blue Spider is me,
Kid Spider's based off me, and
our
Agent Webb.
sister is Agent Webb.
Yeah, Piplup K.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have two based off our cousins, so that's cool.
Yeah, we kind of just created like a
Spiderling and Violet Spider?
Violet Web,
Violet Web.
and then the Dark Spider.
Oh, Dark Spider, he's the bad guy.
Dark Spider's the bad guy. with
One of the
powers.
bad guys. There's a whole bunch of bad
Oh
guys.
yeah, this was our most well fleshed out universe ever.
There's Dark Spider, there's Holster and someone. Holster can basically open up a pocket dimension that's an entire armory, and
Yeah.
then he's got another guy who's like What was
Quick
it?
draw.
Quick draw. What is it? He just can't miss. Can he?
No,
I know he
it
has
wasn't
a
quick
little
draw. It was
power.
revolver. It was
Revolver.
revolver. He has like twin Western style revolvers, however, that he's an expert marksman with. Revolver.
There's also, just today, actually, like an hour or two ago, we added Orbit Security,
which is a good. They're a team of good guys who work with the spiders to take on a massive street gang by the name
of Frostbite.
And they were.
You call them street gang. They're more than that. They've got like complete Kevlar outfits with these really sick gas masks. So
How
they can
you
be
describe
anywhere.
them being is like describe them facing off against each other. It's like Shield and Hydra, basically.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if that's what they're supposed to be, then I believe I figured out the exact way. Because Agent Webb, there's a reason she's called Agent Webb. She started off as an agent for like a government group. I'm just gonna do Orbit Security.
Yeah.
And then she like was helping them, and then she found out that her two siblings were spiders, like her, and she just kind of just joined their little team that they made up. Okay, so yeah, me on that Earth, Blue Spider. He, well, you know, was working on an experiment kind of thing, and he managed to create durable web substance. And he ended up, during that experiment, getting hit with like a blast of energy when he was... Basically, he was trying to figure out how to recreate spider silk. So he could, like, and spider webs, so he could try to do that. And it worked, and he was experimenting with spider DNA to figure out how to do it. And it worked. He managed to create webbing. But then an accident happened, and it blew up in his face, literally, and gave him spider powers.
And basically using that, he managed to, because basically what happened is before any of this, I just wanted to say that, Kid Spider lost his arm in the most cool way possible. He got into a car accident and they had to amputate it. So cool.
That's how,
Anyways,
that's how he lost his arm the first time.
the first time.
That should give you an idea of what kind of crap.
He started
Kid
off
Spider's
with
been
like just an average amputee arm that they'd give
But
him.
then what quickly happened was like he couldn't.
Anyways, he discovered Blue Spider's secret. So Blue Spider helped him get spider powers, and
then they worked on like some
Blue
really
Spider
cool
also
tech.
had a friend.
They worked on some tech that basically it made the arm illusionary, so
Okay.
it would look exactly like.
A normal arm, but then when he put his suit on, he could make it look like his suit.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And the arm itself, because it was like all metallic, it had like storage for a whole bunch of gadgets
Yeah.
and stuff.
It didn't
I mean,
start
fuck
that. It basically started as it was just an extra web fluid storage thing. It wasn't that complicated. But now it's gotten to the point where there's like a little screen on it, and he can do so much gadgets and like 3D print them inside its arm and stuff. And it's like, oh wow,
Oh, it's insane. The tech they've gotten is gone. They've gotten so much power at this point that it's not even just tech that helps them power up. They've got magic.
oh yeah. There's
Tothrak the spider wizard,
God,
spider god, right?
He can Blue Spider can summon him, and then Kid Spider on this one mission that not going to talk about because it's a very long story and whatever. Found this special amulet thing that basically he puts it on and he becomes Sorcerer Spider, gets wizard powers.
And the Sorcerer Spider, think of him as like a combination of Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate.
It's basically like
And in both
he
cases,
takes over the sorcerer
In both
takes over his
cases-
body and stuff.
in both cases, it's an entirely separate conscience that takes over their body and gives them like insane. In this case, both cases, god level magic powers.
But it's not like Doctor Fate where like you can't take it off once it's got on.
Yeah, no, it's more the fact that like there's a mutual agreement over. So it's like we let them take over.
To fight.
They fight, and as soon as the fight's over, they go back, and then we take back control.
Yeah.
And then, okay, how do we start? So each of our characters, and then we find out that our sister is Agent Webb. She joins us, and then came the very, 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 very fun story. There was this guy who was experimenting with a new energy source and was trying to create like portals through experimenting. don't remember exactly what it was. He was experimenting with some sort of new energy form and was trying to use it to like destroy the city. So we stopped him, but I got caught in the blast, and the
We
entire
thought
place was obliterated.
Died.
And I thought, yeah, like
This is where Spiderling and Violet Web come in, because it's like, since he was gone, the one that's based off. I'm just gonna say I did it because it's basically sort of me. It's like I took over the mantle of Blue Spider, but we needed someone to be Kid Spider.
so no one would be suspicious of the fact that where's one of the heroes?
So
We went to our cousin and gave him like because we'd be able to replicate. We actually made a spider that was the same as. Well, let's just say
we basically managed to.
It was a genetically altered spider that gave Agent Web her powers, and she kept it. So we gave it to our cousin, and gave him spider powers through that, and he became the new Kid Spider.
Yeah.
Until eventually a strange portal opens up, and I come back from the future where I was. I was stranded like 100 years into the future.
By the way, before this story here happened, he had lost his arm.
Oh yeah,
And then in the future, they had technology to bring it back.
yeah, that's basically what happened. Is now here's the thing. Whereas Kid Spider lost his entire arm, I just lost from my elbow down.
Yeah.
So I had like a smaller one. And we lost it. We'll get to the story because that's its own like major story. The whole thing.
We should probably get finishing this up soon.
I know. I'll split this. Maybe I can split this into 2 parts.
We don't have to. You can just cut this part out later. I say we like quickly wrap up what we're talking about right now, and then do that. Just like what we have right now. Done. Yeah. And then we can.
I'll just split it into 2 parts. It'd probably be easier. And I'll cut
get
this part
wrapping up.
I'll cut this part out. Okay. Let's wrap this up. Okay. 3, 2, 1. So after I came back, I had a whole bunch of new suits. So I gave one. I was back in a new Blue Spider suit.
Oh,
I gave a new one to Kid Spider that was still had the orange and dark gray or black, or whatever that was his color scheme, but also had little bits of blue for his run as Blue Spider.
Well, oh boy, our suits! Holy crap, have we had a lot of suits?
Oh yeah, no, these get like updated every few months.
Yeah. So I started off as orange and white, and then I got this new design that was orange and blue with like some green accents, and then there was that suit that was orange, dark gray, and blue, and now I'm just on orange and dark gray. And those are like the main suits. I've also had a whole crap ton of other suits. Like there's the, oh my gosh, we shouldn't even
Really?
get into some of this stuff.
Really?
The ninja storyline. There's that.
Oh yeah. And then
Oh my
the
gosh.
Beach Blast, and then oh good gosh, we have a lot.
The whole symbiote
The
stories.
nanotech. Oh, it goes. Yeah, we do have our own versions of the symbiotes, and let's just say that's how he.
What is that? That's how I got my arm back for a limited time.
And then when that symbiote,
Shard, that's the
yeah,
name of the
Shard, that
symbiote.
was our symbiote. He bonded to Kid Spider, and it grew back his arm. And at the end of it, Shard ended up going crazy, I think, and then sliced off his arm and my arm.
No,
Was it? I thought it was.
no. Shard's always been like a good symbiote.
Okay, I'm sure it was a symbiote that chopped off mine.
And you had another symbiote. That
Oh,
in a
yeah.
fight, that's how you lost your arm.
Yeah, I remember that. And then
Like I also remember, there's been so much. Oh boy, I'm just trying to think. There was how many times have I lost my arm? I think it was 4 times. It's
probably.
like I had the original arm, and then I took that off for a more advanced one. But something happened, and that one got like completely destroyed.
Oh, I remember. It was our own play on Spider-Man's comic, The Clone Saga.
Oh.
Yeah, that was. We started that and never finished that story arc.
I can't even remember.
But you came
that.
out of it with having to use your older arm, and then you
I
had a
can't
new height.
even remember what you're talking about.
I think it was very. It was like we brought up the idea and then started with like talked about it for like 2 minutes and then gave up on it.
I'm just trying to. So, I think there was. Okay, I can think of. Definitely remember 2 because I remember. As I had, so there was the original one. Then I took that off for a more advanced one, and then that one somehow got like completely destroyed. So I got a new one, and then we came across this villain Hack who could control technology, and he was using my arm against me. And he ended up completely like actually blowing it up while still attached to me, which definitely would have hurt. So then, because we were fighting him, I took the non-technical advanced one, the one that's just like almost like a normal prosthetic arm. It just has storage for web fluid. I used that one for a while, and then I got a new one when that was all over. That got destroyed in a battle with this dude who could manipulate matter, and then I got this brand new one that has a whole bunch of stuff, and that's what I'm
But
on.
isn't that one also magically enhanced too?
Yeah. Because like it was destroyed in a battle, and
It was destroyed in the
Sorcerer
battle.
Spider took over.
And then he created like a new arm out of magic energy, and then you kind of just upgraded that one with tech, and then that
Yeah.
became your newest and most current arm.
So right now I have basically it can
It's half
three-
tech, half
using-
nanotech, half magic.
using the magic. It can basically create web fluid and any sort of gadget that
Also, can it change
I
shape?
can use. I don't think so.
You should add that.
I don't remember. No, I know I didn't add it from beginning, but I don't know. But it's like it can basically create any gadget and create web fluid just out of nothing,
which
which
is so
helps
good.
with that. And then it's also
So you
very
never run into
high-tech.
web fluid.
Or gadgets.
More gadgets, yeah. And then the really fun part, and one of the things we kind of added was I came back from the future with new suits. Our cousin became Spiderling, and then after that, I came back with a little bit of extra future knowledge. Our other cousin, our cousin who's now Spiderling, he has a sister, an older sister, and I was talking with her, and I came back with a little bit of future knowledge. She has, and this is something that I brought up in her origin, and she hasn't really used since, but I need to remember this. She's got this crazy powerful energy flowing through her. Called I don't think I actually gave it a proper name. But it was like a crazy strong energy that was like flowing through her body, and in order to stabilize that, because it was going out of control and she was like frying stuff around her and all that, we gave her the spider, and it gave her spider powers, and it stabilized that energy, and then she became Violet Web, and then the 5 of us became heroes protecting the city.
Alright, well, you've been talking for
42 minutes. Wow.
42
Okay.
minutes. Wow. I think that'll be the end of this podcast.
Probably. I feel like there's one major storyline I'm missing.
We
that's
went
one
over
of
the Night of Creation. We went over Phantom Spider. We went over the matter manipulation guy.
We brought up. We don't want to go into too much detail. We did bring up our little.
Ninja storyline.
No, I meant like the
The ninja storyline
holidays.
as well.
The holidays.
And the
one.
holidays. Yeah, you're right. There is one more.
I feel like we're missing one more major one. Crap, what are we forgetting?
I don't know.
What was it? Oh, I remember.
What?
The one where I went dark.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, that was the one where I went dark. That was like a miniature one. We forgot to bring up one of our biggest villains, Dark Spider.
Yeah, we brought him up.
Well, we brought him up, but like we just said, Dark
didn't
Spider.
really
Like,
discuss him.
although actually, really, what else is there really to discuss about him?
He's a
just
bad guy with spider powers, just like us.
Yeah, he literally just he has spider powers, same as us. Web shooters,
Yeah,
spider
they're-
sense, everything. But he's used it
just
for bad.
just before the Phantom Spider storyline, like literally just before it, Blue Spider went dark. Because the only reason Phantom Spider like started his plan is because Blue Spider had gone away after being a bad guy for a while. She was like, I can't be here anymore, and he leaves. Yeah. Oh boy. What a doozy. Something. I think we've gone over everything.
I'll just say one thing quickly about like the ninja story. It's a play on the Batman Ninja movie. It's that's all it is.
Honestly.
It's a
Okay,
parody.
we've been talking for quite a while.
We
I think
have
we've
been.
gone over all the main stuff.
Yeah, that's
We can do
about
other
it.
podcasts some other time talking about other stuff. That is, if anyone even cares about what we just talked about for 45 minutes.
Jeez, this got out of hand. We just kept talking and talking and talking.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you guys for tuning in. If you watch to the end, wow, what?
Thank you.
You're gonna have a lot of extra time on your hands.
Yeah.
And thank you.
And
Thank
thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you for listening. See ya.
Okay,
Peeps.
bye.